Good morning to my students in labor standards and social legislation subject in MSU College of Law, and to all the students who might have the privilege to watch this video or video of mine. We learned from our previous discussion that the normal working hours, as stated in Article 83 of the Labor Code of the Philippines, states that it shall not exceed 8 hours. Okay? So the question now is when or in what point can we reckon the hours of work? So, kailan ba natin dapat umpisahan ang bilang ng 8 hours? Okay? So, in this video, we will be discussing the concept of compensable hours worked. Okay? So, when we talk about compensable hours work, it is the time where we reckon the hours of work which the employer is obligated to pay for the work or services rendered by its employee. Okay? So yun po yung concept ng compensable hours worked. Okay? So according to Article 84 of the Labor Code of the Philippines, when we talk about compensable hours work, it pertains to all time, no, during which an employee is required to be on duty or to be at prescribed workplace. Okay? So, kung sinasabi ng employer na at this given time, you must be, or the employees, all employees must be in the workplace or in this designated or this particular place, then that can be considered working or compensable hours work. Magsisimula po diyan ang counting ng hours worked. Okay? So other than that, it says all time during which an employee is suffered or permitted to work. O yung time na actually nagtatrabaho na yung employee or nag-render na siya ng kanyang serbisyo para sa employer. Okay? And the other one is during rest periods. But there is a phrase there of short duration during working hours. And it says it shall be counted as hours work. Okay? So rest period pero short lang ang kanyang duration. Ilang minuto kaya yan? Malalaman natin yan as we further our discussion. Okay? So that's it, no? I hope you have now a clear idea what is a compensable worked hour. Okay? So we proceed. No, there are instances wherein a time spent by an employee is considered working time. Okay? So what are those instances of working time? We will discuss it one by one. First is the time spent by the employee for the benefit of the employer, whether such service is necessary or not, such as serving coffee to visitors. Okay? So, self-explanatory, no? So, hindi na natin siguro kailangang i-deepen ang ating discussion regarding this one because this is very self-explanatory. There is an example there that like serving coffee to the visitors. Okay? So, ang trabaho mo ay clerk, no? Yung trabaho mo is clerk, of course, you're supposed to be doing clerical works like filing of documents, something like that. But as you perform your job, here comes your boss or the employer, inuutusan ka na itimpla sila ng kape or yung mga visitors nila. So that can still be considered compensable working hours. Okay? Compensable working time po 'yan. Okay? So as I said, no need to explain deeply this concept. The other one is the time spent by the office messenger in playing chess when not yet summoned by his superior. Okay? So, of course, yung messenger, yung trabaho naman yan ay maghahatid ng mga sulat or whatever correspondence by the company or whatever errands na i-delegate ng company sa kanya. But during the time na wala pa siyang gagawin, pwede naman siyang maglaro-laro ng chess basta hindi lang yung hindi lang parang abuso na ba. Okay? So, we call that as compensable idle time. Okay? During the time within which wala pa siyang ginagawa, compensable yon as compensable idle time. Okay? Other one is travel time which is connection with the work of the employee. So which is in connection with the work of the employee. If it is not in connection with his work, then it is not compensable working time. Okay? So yung travel time, as a general rule, is compensable provided it is in connection with the work of the employee. Otherwise, it is not compensable. Okay? So, I think this one is also very self-explanatory and it needs no further discussion or deeper discussion for you to understand this concept. This is very understandable. This one is also considered compensable working time. Okay? The time spent during which an employee is inactive by reason of interruptions beyond his control is considered working time. Okay? So, interruption like power interruption or nagkaroon ng connectivity problem. So, ngayon medyo very common na problem ng mga companies is connectivity problem kasi medyo may problema tayo sa connectivity minsan, no? Mawawalan tayo ng connection. Minsan din nawawalan ng nawawalan ng tawag nito kuryente. So shout out sa Socoteco diyan. I-maintain natin yung good electricity supply natin kasi very important. Okay? So, sabi dito, kung yung interruption naman ay walang control yung employee, ay considered compensable working time yon. Provided that it has to be within 20 minutes. Within the period of 20 minutes. Okay? So ibang usapan din kung sobra sa 20 minutes yung interruption. Even if walang control si employee doon sa naganap or nangyaring interruption, it cannot be considered working time. So specific yung yung provision or specific yung rule natin dyan is that it should not be beyond 20 minutes na interruption. Okay? So, kunwari, or for example, merong power outage. Sobra isang oras yung power outage. Yung isang oras ba na power outage ay compensable working time? The answer is no. because it's beyond 20 minutes. Okay? So anong mangyari doon? Minsan ay ah, kung sobra isang oras lang naman and then it has still time na mag-operate yung company, the employer may opt to extend the working hours. Okay? I-extend niya, no? For example, hanggang ang working time ng company is from 8 to 5 p.m. Okay? 8 to 5 p.m. Supposedly, out ng empleyado is 5 p.m. But there is a power interruption of 1 hour. Pwede mag-extend ang employer until as 5:40. Okay? 5:40, and that 40 minutes na that 40 minutes na extension is not considered overtime because i-offset niya lang yung time na nawala because of power outage or whatever outage it may be, no? So yun yung concept. Okay, I hope it's clear to you. We proceed. The next one is waiting time spent by an employee shall be considered as working time if waiting is an integral part of his work or the employee is required to engage by the employer to wait. Okay? So, yun po yung nakalagay, no, sa ating libro, no? Libro ni Pukis, no? So, itong waiting time. So, this concept is, I think, very controversial concept, of course. There are a lot of cases in this tackling, no? Or discussing about this waiting time. Okay? So, I deem it proper and prudent to discuss deeply about this one, no? Because this might be a good source of bar questions so that in the future, if you are taking the bar, at least you have idea what is this, no? Waiting time, no? Ang sinabi dito is compensable yung waiting time if waiting is an integral part of the employee of his work or the employee is required or engaged by the employer to wait. There is this concept that some jurisprudence call the concept of engaged to wait and waiting to be engaged. Okay? So, may difference po yung engaged to wait and waiting to be engaged. Pag sinasabi mong you are engaged to wait, ibig sabihin yan, that's compensable working time. Because when you are engaged to wait and you are not allowed to go out or you don't have the liberty to use your time effectively and gainfully for your personal pursuit or for your personal purpose, then that is considered working time. But the other concept is waiting to be engaged. So, okay? So, on call ka, pero you have the liberty to use your time effectively and gainfully for your own purpose, then that's not considered a compensable working time. Okay? Remember the concept of engaged to wait and waiting to be engaged. Okay? Sa engaged to wait, uulitin ko, you are on call. Okay? You stand by. Sabi ng employer, okay, you stand by. But in doing so, you are not allowed to use your time effectively and gainfully for yourself, no? For your own purpose. Antay ka dyan, no? Antay ka lang dyan. And that's and you have no liberty. As I said, you have no liberty to use your time effectively and gainfully. Then that's compensable working time. The other one is that you are on call, but while waiting, you can use your time for your own for your own purpose. You can sell anything, you can contact your clients, you can have meetings with your clients or whatsoever. Basta anything you do using your time effectively and gainfully, then that cannot be considered as compensable working time. Okay? So tandaan niyo yung dalawang concept na 'yan. If you are able to get it, no? So kahit anong questions diyan lang, no? Basta yung criteria diyan, lagi niyong tandaan is the use of your time effectively and gainfully for your own purpose. Yun yung criteria. Okay? So, kung you can use your time gainfully and effectively while you are waiting, then that's not compensable working time. The other way, conversely, if you cannot use your time gainfully and effectively for your own purpose, then that's compensable working time. Okay? Remember the concept of engaged to wait and waiting to be engaged. I hope that's clear to you. Another one is the time spent by the union's officers in collective bargaining table. Okay? So, anong sabi diyan, no? Yung ginagamit yung time during working hours for collective bargaining. Pero may catch diyan. May kadugtong 'yan. If so provided in the collective bargaining agreement. Kung hindi yan nakalagay sa CBA, hindi yan considered compensable working time. Okay? Kasi yung CBA is the agreement between the employer and the employee. So if so provided therein, then the employer is bound by that, no? So that can be considered compensable working time. Pero kung wala namang nakalagay sa CBA, kasi hindi naman part ng trabaho yung yung collective bargaining. Hindi yan part ng duty or responsibility ng isang membro ng isang union or isang officer ng isang union. Hindi niya part yan. That's outside of his commerce or outside of his work or scope of works. So, technically, that cannot be considered compensable working time. However, if it's so provided in the collective bargaining agreement, then that can be considered compensable working time. I hope that's clear to you. Another one is preliminary and post-preliminary activities are deemed performed during working hours. Okay? So, sa 8 hours na yan, within which it is considered working time, may tinatawag dyan na preliminaries. No? Yung naglilinis ka ng iyong table, your working area, or nililinis mo yung kung nasa department store ka, nililinis mo nag-a-arrange ka ng mga paninda mo. So, that's part of your preliminary activity. So that can be considered part of the working hours. So the duration of the working hours, preliminary activities are part. And so are post-preliminary activities. Ano yung post-preliminary? The same with the preliminary. Nag-aayos ka, nililigpit mo yung mga papel, nililigpit mo yung mga gamit, naglilinis ka ng iyong working area. So that's part of the working hours and it's compensable working time. So it's very clear, no? And I hope it's clear, it's also clear to you. Another one is the rest period running from 5 to 20 minutes. So ito yung kanina sabi ko, no? Rest period of short duration. So ito 'yon, no? Running from 5 minutes to 20 minutes. So this is also self-explanatory, and I think there is no need for me to explain it further. The other one, the last but not the least, is the semestral break of teachers. Okay? So, yun po yung ano, yung during semestral breaks, compensable po yan. No? Ang mga teacher po ay entitled for payment of their wages during the semestral break. Because sinasabi dyan sa discussion is that wala namang control si teacher, no, as to when and what the specific date is the semestral break. Okay? So it is settled in jurisprudence that it is considered compensable working time. Okay? So I hope that my discussion for today is clear, and I hope and pray that come your preparation for your bar exams, dear students, you will remember the concepts that I discussed to you in this video. And of course, you can always replay this video even if our subject, if even if you are done with my subject, no, the labor legislations and labor standards. Okay, so that's it for this video or this lecture. Thank you so much for your time and effort, and hope to see you again in my next video. Maraming salamat and have a wonderful day to everyone.
Idol, idol, idol ko si Cap. Idol, idol, idol ko si Cap.